Now it is time for some advice. A-D-V-I-C-E. I spent much of my career doling out medical advice. Now the opposite is true. I'm now soliciting advice from every constituency. Really, I want your advice on these matters that follow. Without it, we will never achieve our shared visions of our future. A, affordability. My first calling at Redlands was to get and keep our financial house in order. To what end do we make our finances prudent and orderly? It's to ensure our brand of custom-fit, hand-tooled, experiential education is affordable for future generations. We have approached affordability in several ways. We have kept net tuition increases to an historic minimum rate, near the calculated CPI for higher education. We are prioritizing financial prudence by managing in such a way as to align budgets with mission and to seek new efficiencies. And we recognize that the university had become too comfortable in its use of consultants, its familiar vendors, and financial assumptions. Here are examples of our new prudence just in this 1 year. We reduced the marketing and personnel budgets in the School of Continuing Studies, saving $715,000 per year. Another step was eliminating half of the positions within the Redlands Institute and repurposing the other half to necessary skilled positions within IT services, the Center for Spatial Studies, faculty research support, and other special projects, all serving the academic mission and saving $409,000. We are engaged continually in a comprehensive study of and elimination of unnecessary external consultation. For example, first, the elimination of the annual use of Sightlines, the company for facilities and various other leftover consultants for interior design, public financial management, and facilities, saving $75,000 annually. And second, the reduction by more than $400,000 of expenditures on what is known as enrollment coaching by the outside consultant Inside Track in the professional schools. We also greatly reduced banking fees by negotiating a new RFP-driven banking relationship after more than a half-century with Bank of America, saving approximately $55,000 annually. As a result of these and other management changes, the savings this year alone totaled greater than $1.4 million. Given an endowment spending rate of 4.8%, this is the equivalent of an extra $29 million in new endowment. We have increased the annual contribution to liquidity to $2 million, bettering our operating margin. We are now forecasting a positive net operating margin for the first time in the past 9 years, and enhancing our likelihood of stable or improving credit ratings. D, for digital media and online education. The Presidential Task Force on Online Learning continues to make progress. We have budgeted $250,000 in the first year for this initiative and $400,000 total over 2 years. We have awarded 9 development grants to faculty members. We completed construction of a new Center for Digital Learning. That's a state-of-the-art studio classroom and video production center. We appointed a terrifically talented Director of Academic Computing and Instructional Technology and are searching for an instructional design expert. The task force has also contributed to the development of a first-ever intellectual property policy under the leadership of Associate Provost Ed Wingenbach and with the support of the Sponsored Research Working Group. The policy has been reviewed by an outside counsel expert in intellectual property law and will be presented to the Board of Trustees for discussion before approval. The task force is now helping to evaluate vendors with whom to partner in a pilot experiment to move some curriculum from traditional to online platforms in test programs in the schools of business and education. We will selectively develop online courses and hybrid programs. V, as in University Village. As we anticipate Redlands Rail and dream of our own University Village, we are largely still in the vision stage. More than anything else, we now need market research to discover the kinds of private investments that will pay off in a public-private partnership that could create a mixed-use residential retail environment totally complementary to the town of Redlands, yet one that will produce significant new revenue for U of R. We anticipate the following: environmental impact documents to be certified and approved by spring 2015. The final design of the full 9-mile Rail to Redlands project completed mid-2017, followed by actual construction beginning by fall 2017. First trains expected in 2019. Quieter, smaller, high-efficiency European diesel trains, not the Metrolink's current diesel engines. Full service shortly thereafter. It will come. Of course, the timeline remains somewhat fluid and subject to local or federal obstacles. The San Bernardino Associated Governments needs the transportation dollars approved for their recent Tiger grant request to the Department of Transportation, and we are a formal supporter of that grant application. The Redlands Rail project is a unique opportunity for a comprehensive public-private partnership to increase transit options, enhance civic mobility, and support ongoing clean air regulations. The project's scope includes thoughtful development of sustainable, pedestrian-friendly, mixed-use civic and commercial spaces that highlight the unique features of our community while simultaneously enhancing the economic viability of the region. This project has been embraced by local government and business leaders since the 2006-07 Redlands Passenger Rail Station Area Plan and the Downtown Redlands Specific Plan. As the lead public transit agency convening the project, San Bernardino Associated Governments has made this project its #1 transit priority, wielding more than $230 million in federal, state, and private support for the project. To get ready, at a minimum, the University of Redlands will need this year to have at least a conceptual design for a train station, one that is a signature architectural piece typical of our university's look, yet compatible with the funder's design specifications. We have set aside only a small amount, $200,000, for station design work, pending review by the campus planning and finance committees. Carol Beswick, our chair, intends to reconvene the ad hoc task force of trustees and colleagues who have expertise in the development, including especially alumnus Steve Olson and his team of colleagues, trustee and former mayor of San Bernardino, Pat Morris, and Brad Adams, chair of the trustee campus planning committee, in order to launch the marketing research phase. Research is the next step. It would precede an eventual request for proposals from developers, assuming the research predicts market feasibility for leasing, income generation, and investor interest. Regarding my microbrew fantasy at University Village, by coincidence, just a few months ago when I spoke at the annual Kappa Sigma Sigma Rendezvous, an alumnus, Matt Adams, the co-founder of Prohibition Brewing Company in Vista, California, offered to consider bringing his brewing company to such a development. Internationalization. This was a major focus this past year. I charged the university-wide Council on Comprehensive Internationalization as the first step in achieving this goal. The council is chaired by Associate Provost Ed Wingenbach and includes 3 working groups focusing on the areas of international student recruitment in all schools, on global learning, and on international student services. The working groups, including faculty, staff, and administrators from across the university, conducted an inventory of existing international programs at the university. They reviewed best practices for comprehensive internationalization and engaged faculty and the campus community in discussions of internationalization. The council has presented a draft report and their recommendations with short and long-term goals, a timeline and strategy, the needed resources, and possible options for international student recruitment and international programs. We also centralized international student recruitment within the Office of Enrollment, which has enabled us to have a more comprehensive and diversified approach to international recruitment. In January, we hired a seasoned international admissions professional, Allie Klein. Allie has already made our first foray into Latin America with a 10-day trip sponsored by the Council of International Schools in Colombia. On September 8th, Brian Jauregui joined us as the new Director of International Recruitment for Adult and Professional Education. In this role, Brian will recruit and enroll international students into graduate programs in the schools of business and education, as well as into the School of Music and the college's MS in GIS program. This team started the academic year busy with recruitment activity, beginning with Latin America, visiting Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Costa Rica, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil, Panama, and Mexico. Later in the fall, they will focus on Asia with trips to Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Vietnam, Taiwan, and of course, China. In addition, visits are being planned to Canada, the United Kingdom, and Turkey, all part of our vision to advance the emerging relationships developed by Jack Osborne, Kara Bob, and Minglin Jen that align with our strengths at Redlands. C, campaign. Over the last 2 years, I've been very clear that one of the primary goals I was given by the trustees from day one was to lead our next comprehensive philanthropic campaign in order to strengthen the University of Redlands now and into the future. You will remember from the last State of the University address that the silent phase of the campaign began on July 1st, 2013, with an initial campaign goal estimate of $200 million. The goal is to at least double the size of the endowment in this campaign while building a more deeply engaged community of donors, so that we may then launch another campaign immediately following this one that will triple the endowment from its current size. To recap, our current campaign will be a 7-year effort ending in 2020. It will seek to increase the level of cash gifts secured annually to $15 to $20 million per year, from the current $8 to $10 million. To increase deferred and planned giving, and to more than double the number of endowed professorships, and at the same time increase greatly the number of endowed scholarships. Most importantly, it will be focused on ensuring the gift of a Redlands education for all time, by strengthening our financial position and our ability to seize new opportunities for innovation. We continue to move in earnest and very rapidly. Last year at this time, we had roughly $30 million in commitments. I'm pleased to report today that as of June 30th, we have secured just over $79 million in leadership commitments and have a number of major proposals still under development or consideration. On October 18th, as part of our homecoming weekend, we will celebrate an important milestone celebration, details of which we are keeping a secret for just a little longer. This event will make history in several ways, but most importantly, it will be an opportunity to see firsthand how, as Margaret Mead said so well, a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. I'm asking you to join us in the Memorial Chapel at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, October 18th, for this important event on the life of the University of Redlands. E, enhancement. We seek to enhance master's level programs in the college and the schools through sustainable enrollment growth that takes into account appropriate faculty and staff resources and the preservation of program quality. Here are some of the ways we plan to realize our potential as a master's university. First, institutionalize, perpetuate, and expand across all disciplines in the college what our faculty have done with the help of Hansen and Schroeder scholarships in business and languages to achieve not only Fulbright awards, but Goldwater's, Truman's, Marshall's, and our first Rhodes Scholar. A Center for Student Success can be born, which does build on one of the compliments we received from WASC. Second, conceive and develop a variety of interschool master's degrees, such as, to name just a few possibilities, a business of arts management, business of music, or business of higher education, and so forth. Third, grow the size of the Masters in GIS program, the MSGIS, and International GIM, and expand enrollments through the new MGIS program. Fourth, enlarge prudently the size of Communicative Disorders Master's program while maintaining its stellar reputation, and add an endowed professorship. Fifth, grow the School of Music master's degree programs. Sixth, in the School of Education, we will enhance master's degree programs by several methods. Developing a 4+1 pathway to the School of Education for College of Arts and Science students, targeting the Masters of Arts in Learning and Teaching and the Higher Education and Counseling Master's programs. Developing institutional partnership pathway programs with other colleges so that new baccalaureates can enter our School of Education graduate programs seamlessly. Next, developing selective master's programs for enhanced online delivery or hybrid delivery, such as an internationally focused mental health counseling program, or hybrid higher education programs with specialized paths, for example, in student affairs, or business, or general administration. And next, reinvigorate the EDD by examining the possibility of different program tracks, such as educational administration, higher education, or even community college leadership. So, ADVICE, it's really very simple. I need your advice if together we are to create a truly inspiring vision together.